Hi there and welcome along to the On the Whistle podcast. I'm your host, Zayn Nabbi, and joining me today is former PSL winner, our faithful analyst, our good friend, our Spirit Cup winner, Courtney Freese. How are you doing today, my good man?
Absolutely fantastic, Zayn. Overcast weather, cold, raining, perfect England weather.
I know, and the Prime Minister is gone, and we're going to have load shedding in the winter, which for those out there, load shedding simply is power outages. So that's not fun in the cold. But listen, this braai is smoldering. The coals are hot. We've had some winter sun. And to lift our spirits and bring the passion, we have four-time winning PSL coach, Gavin Hunt. He's here to join us to talk about his second coming at SuperSport. He was on last year. We loved it. Gavin, welcome back round the braai. How are you doing, pal?
Good to be back, and it's good to see you, Oaks. I'm a little bit underdressed here. The other Oaks got a tie on. I mean, is he going to apply for the Prime Minister's job or what?
Courtney for Prime Minister. I don't know. Courtney, you know, John Barnes was...
He couldn't be any worse. He couldn't be any worse, for sure.
Listen, it's an easy job. If I look at the mistakes people are making, it's an easy job.
Yeah. That's for sure. For sure.
Well, listen, it's so good to have you with us, Gavin. I'm not going to hog the mic. I'm going to give it to Courtney first to kick us off. But what a pleasure. We were looking forward to this conversation.
No, great. Thanks for having me. We're all parts of the world. So, yeah, good. Let's fire away.
Yeah, Gavin, let's get straight into it. SuperSport, from a results perspective, are flying. You know, you picked up 6 wins out of 7 games. Beat Sundowns as well. What is it down to? What is going on at SuperSport?
Look, we didn't start great. I think we actually played the first 4 games, we never won. I think we lost 2 and drew 2, so we weren't looking great. There was a lot of murmurs around and that type of thing. But I thought actually I could see that there was big signs of this team could do something. And we played very, very well. We lost to AmaZulu in Durban. We murdered them. I mean, we played Chipper. We should have given them 5, And I mean, it was really frustrating. And I thought, well, just be patient. It'll come. And look, we've just started, pick up a little bit of momentum. It's a long, long way to go. I mean, we've got like 19, 20 games to go. So I'm not getting too excited, but what we need to do is get ourselves in a good position and try and work off that a little bit. So, yeah, we just keep going, Keep going.
Now, Gavin, you're back at SuperSport United. It's the second coming for you. You were very successful in your first stint at SuperSport, along with the late Thomas Marikake, and I saw your tribute to him in the week, which I thought was really nice. How did the move come about to get back to SuperSport?
Well, I mean, they say you must never go back. It's like taking an ex-girlfriend back, isn't it? Sometimes. They say you should never go back. But you know what happened? I mean, 2 years ago, we had the biggest blow in my football career was, when that Wits got sold. I mean, we were all in a bubble. We were in a hotel for 6 weeks, locked away, and we got told we don't have a job. So that was the biggest blow in my life, playing career, coaching career, and everything. So it was really a downer. And everybody was being sold off, like meat. And it really peed me off. And I was the last one to get a job. And I took a job that I didn't really want because I knew of all the minefields that you're going to go into, those type of jobs. And Wits, I was there 6 years. So I always said, if I ever go back anywhere into football, I'll go back to SuperSport. I always said that. And then obviously last season never came about. SuperSport were obviously doing very, very well. I always say for jobs, you don't go look for them. They let them come to you, And I thought, okay, it's not going to happen. And then I've been out the first time in my football life since playing, because I went straight from playing into coaching. So it's the first time since 1981 that I was out of football for 6 months. And people say, oh, you need a holiday. I said, absolute rubbish. You don't need a holiday. I have a holiday when you retire. So that really, made me look at things. And I was really, it was a big knock on me, from just waking up every morning and just sitting around having coffee and just doing nothing. I didn't enjoy that. So my golf got worse. Because see, people say, oh, you play so much golf now. I said, what else must I do? But it got worse because I was so demotivated. And then this came about. I got a call and it was late, you know, because everybody had started. And I thought, geez, like, if this is not going to happen now, it's not going to happen. And I got a call and I got this job 2 weeks before the start. That's also 2 weeks before the start of the season. So I came in there late, couldn't get a player swapping. You know me, I like to trade and swap and try and get a few in. I couldn't get in. And so that's, I think also had a little bit to do with how we started because I didn't want to, you know, I thought we needed a player or two, you know. So that's how it came about.
So, as you know, you and I have been keeping in contact. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm happy for how you're doing. I noticed that you were in Manchester during your sabbatical.
Yeah.
What did you come to England to do? Please don't tell me you came here for electricity purposes.
So, no, all truly speaking, a friend of mine obviously knows someone at City and yeah, I just asked if I could come over and have a look around the club and see how they do things. It was very refreshing and sort of reiterated the things that I believe in and how the football game should be played, and not that there's any rocket science or any, you know, this because people always think everybody tries to reinvent the game, and I went there and I saw how simple it was, and yeah, I went there and it was really good for me a couple of days there. Then I went down to Brentford. I was down at Brentford as well. What a football club! What a football club! They're gonna. I never say they'll be a powerhouse. They can never be a powerhouse. They don't have the support base, and they haven't got they've got a history, but never a history in the top level. But with the way they run the club and the way it's really professional. So that was also refreshing to suit both ends of the scale, with money and with no money, you know. And then yeah, just came back, and then this came about. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been doing.
So, Zayn, sorry, man, to just cut in there. So you spent some time at the two clubs. Did you have some time with the managers within these two clubs?
No, you know, the problem is, Courtney, is that when I went there, they had Real Madrid on the semi. Was it semis? Yeah, they were playing every 2-3 days. So the last thing Pep and these oaks want to talk to is an oak like me from South Africa. I understand. So I didn't really. I had big meetings with Jason Wilcox. You know, Jason Wilcox was a left winger, played for Blackburn. He runs the academy. And it was very interesting to feel, and he, to be fair, he was very good to me, and he gave me a good 2 hours in his office, one-on-one, just firing questions and giving me and telling me and asking things, and that was very refreshing for me. And then I went down with the coaches in the youth, you know, because I could get a little bit closer there and just watch the training, and yeah, it was brilliant. It was brilliant.
Gavin, you spoke about going to City. They're obviously a club with lots of resources. A lot of finances coming in. You look at South Africa and you look at a team like Sundowns, and they have a lot of investment that's gone into them. Just like you have teams here in the UK wondering how they can topple City, their fans, their coaches out there wondering, is it possible to stop the Sundowns juggernaut in South Africa's Premier Soccer League?
No, I think they'll dominate. They've dominated the last 5-6 years. I think they've won the Premier League. I don't think anybody will stop them again this year. I think we can beat them like we beat them in the first round. We'll beat them in a one-off. But I think over 30 games, you know, I think they've got a squad they've got, I mean, let's be honest, they've maybe got 3 teams there that could play, and I think could come first, second, and maybe fifth. You know what I'm saying? Or fourth, if they play the 3 teams. So they got huge resources. It's, you know, their big objective is obviously trying to win the Champions League in Africa, you know, which I've always said that Real Madrid will struggle to win the African Champions League. They couldn't win it yet because of all the traveling and where you play and how you play and what goes behind the scenes. So, you know, that's their big focus. But domestically, I don't think not even Chiefs, not a chance. And Pirates, I think, are about the closest this season in terms of the squad wise. And then you get us. Well, then you get the rest, which is us. So I always say, you know, if you take, I always say a coach should be judged on the financial, what he spends at a club. And I don't think that gets mentioned enough in world football. So if your club is spending X, you should be coming first. Do you understand what I'm saying? Who spends the next, second, third, fourth, whatever. So we're the 5th or the 6th best spenders. The top 6 should be good for us. But obviously, that's not my makeup. I want to end first. But I mean, so I think in South Africa, in this market here, it's really out of proportion. I think they're way ahead. They just this wages and that's why all our players. I mean, look at SuperSport. We've sold all our players to Sundowns. I always say, would Man United sell their players to Man City? No chance. Would Everton sell their players to Liverpool? No chance. I'm talking about, and we do that in this country, and obviously our neighbours who are our rivals, but we sell all our best players there. They've got 5, 6 of our best players over the last 4, 5 years. I'm back from my time when I was here. We sold our whole team to Sundowns, I mean, so we lost all our best players. And so, yeah, I just don't know if I don't know if that's right, but hey, the money rules the game. That's how it works.
I'm wondering, Gavin, from your perspective, and I've listened carefully to your answer there, do you think Sundowns' success has purely lied in the financial power that they have? Or
No.
is their courting,
Could
Courtney and I go there and achieve the success?
No, let's be. I mean, you've got to give credit to the coaches, because when you've got a good group of players, that's not. I feel, my opinion, I think it's not so much about coaching. I think it's about managing. Where I'm coaching more than managing. You know what I'm saying? And anywhere in the world, that's why Carlo Ancelotti is the best for Real Madrid. He manages people. He's the best. Maybe he has to be a good coach. Yes, of course, because you have to coach players. And the better players that you've got, you have to challenge them. So you can't be doing poor training sessions and not challenging good players. Average players, you don't have to challenge them because this is where they are. Do you understand what I'm saying? So coaching is all about challenging the better players and doing sessions that obviously challenge them mentally, physically, and then obviously managing all the egos, because you've got 3, 4 players in every position that are just, if not just as better as the one playing. So you've got to give the coaches credit. And maybe that's why they've got 3 coaches. Do you understand? Maybe one guy they feel can't handle it. But yeah, I can't comment on that. But you got to give them credit. I just feel that they should be, my opinion, with their finance, they should have the best 5 foreigners with the money that they. And that's where I think, I'm not saying Sundowns, I think that the whole of South Africa, we need to be better. If you allow 5 foreigners, we need to bring in better foreigners. So the league will be elevated. And I think Sundowns have brought in, like Sereno, and these players are top players, and they've really elevated their team in the league. But I don't know if we could spend that much money. Well, we can't. We don't. I haven't bought one player for 10 rand or 100 rand. I haven't bought one. They freeze and loans and.
So you're the coach, you're the manager, and you do the deals.
Well, I don't do the deal, the extra money deal, but I just get told, we got no money, we can't buy anybody. Right. Now you have to swap and trade and sell. And so that's yeah. But listen, my second time at this club is totally different to the first time. Because now we say, right, we're not spending any money. We have to use the youth. So I've got the youth team training with me, training the youth team, looking at the players. But sometimes you need a little bit of time with these type of things. But in football, you don't always have time, So, yeah.
I'm wondering, Gavin, do you have enough budget for a boot camp? I know when you're first coming in SuperSport, you spoke to us on the podcast about how you did a boot camp when you first came in there so that you could get to know the players. You could also test.
I wasn't popular.
But it also, honestly, gave you a chance to weed out players, right?
I'll tell you what happened. It's a true story. True story. The first 5 games, we were bottom of the league. We had 4 points. So they wanted to fire me because I've changed I've turned the place upside down, which is my, I like to, if it's not right for me, then I'll turn it upside down. So I said, right, we're taking them on a Kamp Staaldraad. Kamp Staaldraad? Remember that? Where they put them in.
Yes, so Kamp Staaldraad was a boot camp that the South African rugby team did a couple of years ago.
And
it didn't go down well with the players.
But they went a little bit too extreme. They had guns, they were shooting guns over their heads and crawling in rivers. But I had my guys carrying telephone poles for 5 caliber. Had to go through water they put them in the bush. They slept in the bush that night with 1 egg, 1 chicken drumstick, 1 match and a flint. No tent, nothing. They hated me. We won the league.
So you're doing this time, you're doing this again, right?
No, listen, I always, I'm crazy like these type of things. I think sometimes, football, people say, oh, coaching. Yeah, coaching is very important. But sometimes in football, a lot of the time, it's about the little bit of extra. And we were bottom of the league. I said, right, 2 nights in the bush, telephone poles, carrying jugs of water, 1 drumstick, 1 egg, no food. I tell you, they rebelled. But you know what? The guys that took it, the army guys that took them, they said to me, because I said to the staff, there's 3 or 4 players that they need to go. They're causing all the problems. And when we did the actual report at the end, because what they do is they give you a T-shirt and they paint you with a number, 7, 8. They paint it. And they don't call you by your name. They call you, hey, number 7, number 8, number this. So I got the numbers collated with the names. So when the report came at the end of the 2 days, they said to me, number 7's a troublemaker. Number 8, he's the worst one in the group. And they were the same players that were causing the problems that I wanted out. What happens? We got them out. We never lost a game. We won the league. Unbelievable story. I'm telling you, it's the truth. So sometimes players don't need. It's like taking the group of players out. Let's go. We all go get pissed. Let's go in the pub. Everybody in the pub. Let's go get absolutely smashed. Get all the stories out. But next week will be better. I'm telling you. I had a coach. I played for a coach. We lost. I never forget. We lost in Joburg to, I don't know, Cosmos. He said, right, everybody in Monday. We thought, here we go again. Another meeting. We got down there. There was meat and beers. Everybody got absolutely smashed. There was 1 or 2 arguments. We won. We never lost a game in another 20 games after that. I'm telling you. So sometimes, is it all about the coaching, about football? No. It's about sometimes it's just something you need to switch. And the group will just go in another way, or
And that's why you've come around our virtual braai, right?
Yes, I'm telling you. You'd be surprised the braais, what things come out in braais, sitting around a fire, what things come out, and a few drinks here and there. You know what I mean?
To bond the team this time around, to get them together. I'm guessing there's no boot camp, but what?
No.
What have you done?
Well, I did a boot camp. I did actually, but a football boot camp. When I first came, the first week. I said, right, we went for 6 days, 3 times a day training, 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 3 o'clock. They couldn't handle it. So I ran them in the mornings. We did gym, trained at 10, trained at 3. By 5, they were in bed sleeping. So at 6 days, boom, 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 boom. And I crash coursed them. And in the afternoons, we played 6 friendlies. So I had 6 games, 6 days in a row, right? Plus train 6 o'clock, plus train 10 o'clock, play a game at 3. Just crash course them. I tell you now, you should have seen them fly the next after that. So I knew this group needs a wake-up call here. It needs something. It needs, yes, we're tactical. I do that every day. We're doing proper training, proper coaching, and building things through the phases and all the football stuff. But I'm telling you now that when you get to the top level of the sport, or any level, sometimes it's not about the coaching. It's sometimes a little bit about getting them in another direction. And I'm not saying that, oh, now we're winning, now it's working. I might need to do another one if you don't win a game or 2. You know what I'm saying? But it's for me, that's what it's about.
Gavin, I was going to say, I just got a couple more questions, and we'll give it back to Courts. But a couple of seasons ago, AmaZulu were flying high. Benni McCarthy was coaching them. They were doing excellently. I know he's someone somebody you managed and you coached.
Yeah.
How proud are you to see him at Manchester United working with the forwards? What is that like watching that from?
So I sent him a message. I actually had to pinch myself, because the good thing that Benny's got, he's played there. He scored a hat-trick against them. He's played in the Champions. He's won a Champions League medal. So. The problem sometimes in football, in world football, people think if you don't play in the English Premier League, you're not that good. I mean, he played in a Porto side that won the Champions League. I mean, he knocked out some big names there. Could he have done better in his career? I think if you ask Benny, I think he could have. You always he was kept moving too much, maybe, here and there. But I mean, certainly at Porto, he found his niche. Ajax had a great, good career, but then moved on. Blackburn, he scored a lot of goals in the first year.
Celta Vigo, he was very good as well. In
Celta Vigo, I was at the Spanish Cup when they beat Barcelona. When Celta Vigo, I was at the semi-final in the No Camp with Benny. I was there because I was staying by him. So listen, He's had a good career. But he's in a step of his life now where, he's really, a door could open for him now. If he spends a season 2 there, he could get a good a good championship club. Why not? And then I'm going to be going like this. Hey, I'll do the coaching. You just talk all the nonsense to the media. Then become coach there. You know what I mean? I'll do all the coaching.
Anytime. And
I'll be the assistant. I always say, I've said to all young coaches, and I did that when I started coaching. All young coaches, listen what I'm telling you. Get an old assistant. Don't get somebody young and get an old assistant. A guy who's older, who's been there. Let him be your assistant. Let him sit there next to you. Say, hey, whoa. I'm telling you, that's the best thing for young coaches. I did that. I had my former coach, Ian Towers, bless his soul, he's dead today. He was my manager at Lennox. And I pulled him in. I said, listen, come sit next to me. Then when I went to Lennox, I got a guy by the name of John Riley. He was the FA UEFA coaching instructor. I said, just sit next to him. He was in his 60s. Brilliant. I'd walk out the dressing room. He said, that was good. Oh, that was shit. That was good. That was good. That was bad. You know what I'm saying? Say that. Don't say that. And I would, and as I've got older, I always agree with it.
I was going to go, that's been my philosophy for the podcast chair, Gavin, is that's why Courtney's involved. He's the old guy.
Yeah. Young and old's good. Look what he looks like. Looks like $1 million.
Thank you,
what do you call you? We're going to take it back to Marks and Spencer tomorrow. We don't know who this is. Marks and Spencer, take the suit back.
But before we bring the $1 Million Man in, I just have to ask you one more. Gavin, you came onto our pod and we loved our time with you when we recorded last year. And I remember you were saying, Benny's done so well. He's overachieved.
Yeah, I remember, yeah.
He set the bar so high that it's actually going to count against him because now AmaZulu are going to have unrealistic expectations of what they can do. Well, they got rid of him. They got rid of other coaches. And I just wonder, with your wisdom sitting from afar, what you think of the comments you made when you were on the pod, if you can remember them. And secondly, the running of AmaZulu at the minute. When you look there.
Well, I phoned Benny. I spoke to Benny after that year when he came second. I said, as long as your arse is pointing downwards, you'll never have another chance in your life to come second. You'll never in your life, that club plays the pot. And I said to him, you have got big problems. He said, why, coach? Because now they're going to want you to come first. You should rather come fourth, because then the next season you can come third. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? I said, they overachieved coming second. He took their club from relegation to come in second. The goalkeeper he was man of the season. He was saving the ball. And then they would score breakaway, so you could see in some games they had control, some games they had no control, but they were never going to come second again. And I told him that. And I said, unless you strengthen properly, you know what I'm saying, and really get better than what you got. And then they got rid of one or two of the players they had that they came second with, and then, he was under pressure.
Yeah, I think he suffered with some of the recruitment there, Gavin, that he did pull in. And
because
also,
it looks like
a lot of players.
Yeah, you know what? It looks like from afar. I'm just saying from afar. I don't know. They recruited on emotion. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So when the player played for Kaiser, he played for Kaiser Chiefs. His legs are gone. He can't run anymore. What are you signing him for? It's a bad signing. Do you understand? But it's emotional because it looks good because you sign a Pirates player or this player. It's not that. I think that's where they let themselves down. Really did. But even now, I think they're in the bottom of the league,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Gavin, let's come back to Pitso at the moment. And as Zayn said, he's played for you. What do you think of the project he's taken on there in Saudi Arabia at the moment? And also, it's also a second division team. What are your thoughts on that whole move?
You see, he got really fortunate. I wouldn't say fortune, but he earned the fortune. Do you understand what I'm saying? He earned it by getting that unlucky job. So once you've had that job in Africa, the gate, it's open, my friend. But now, I would tell Pitso, listen, don't tell me it's about football. It's about looking after the future. You understand what I'm saying? And I think he's looking after the future financially. That's basically, because you're not going there for football reasons. Really, are you? It's in terms of, he's gone luckily, which is I would think a much better league than where he is now. You know what I'm saying? So it's financially, he's helping him. He's going to live, he can do what he likes. But yeah, he's working in a good area. The next thing is to get one of those big clubs in those, in that Gulf League there, and I think he can possibly do it, or get into Europe, which I think is close for him now.
I was actually disappointed with his move that, you had a manager like the Greek manager, you had the Wolves manager, owners coming out on TV saying, listen, we are looking for a good manager, and we cast in the net, fine, why? His name never came up once.
Courtney, in the football world, it's not what you know, my friend, it's who you know. Who controls most of the managers in English football? Jorge Mendes, my friend. Yeah. He controls everybody. And I wish I could find Jorge, because name will be mentioned for Wolves. So let's be honest, that's what the game is all about. And if you got the agent is connected with clubs, that's my point. Here's this guy in South Africa, me. Got this hell of a CV, what. They're going to say, who? Because nobody knows, because somebody's got to know somebody to get in. That's the only way it works. Because you must remember, a coach can't go on trial. If I was a player, I could come there and say, no, shit, crap, send him back. But my CV, everybody's got a CV, like a good CV. But I can't go on trial. I'm a coach. So what must I go do? Put on a training session and show you. So somebody needs to know somebody to know somebody. So Pitso has come brilliantly by going to Al-Ahly. Listen, he suffered to live there. It's not a nice place to live, because obviously it's a different life altogether. But he suffered, done well, won the Champions League, blah, blah, blah. Now that Gulf area, he controls it. He can go anywhere there if he wants to. But he's going to need somebody to get him in the big league. And Greece maybe, because he played there. So he's got a chance maybe to get into a Greek league. But is the money going to be as good as he's earning now? No chance. And is he going to get his money if he goes to the Greek league? Yeah. Well, and there, my friend, you draw a game or two, you're gone. In Greece.
Yeah, well, my wife is an Aikara fan. My wife's an Aikara fan. And honestly, with the Greek economy, he might as well stay where he is.
But he's never gonna earn the money what he's earning now and he's not, unless he coaches Olympiacos or Panathinaikos. But still, there you got 2 games, 3 games out. So I mean,
Gavin, sorry, go on. Gavin.
So it's very important. You got to have an agent that knows somebody, but are they going to take somebody on that? You must also remember, South Africans, we get judged on your national team. I'm telling you. So they say, where are you from? South Africa. Nah, you crap. What do you know? Your team is hopeless. Players, you crap. So we get judged as a coach on my national team. And I'm saying, hello, yeah, I'm in South Africa, down the bottom there. They laugh at us. They'll never, you got no opportunity. We'll never get an opportunity. Never. Because if our national, when in 96, that era, 98, when we were really flying, all the scouts around the world, where'd they come? They came to South Africa looking for players. There was coaches, this, that. People are talking, but obviously they just went like that,
I have to ask you, Gavin, about another South African abroad, but this time in North America. You have Bradley Cornell, who's coaching in the MLS.
Now, how did he obviously he played with the director or the what do they call those? They got so many titles now these days. So he played with the guy gave him a gap, and hey, fair play to him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he played there in the Bundesliga, which obviously does help. And then he came here, did what he had to do, but then he got a gap, and listen, hey, I'm not begrudging him. I'm just saying that's how football works. I mean, it's like me bringing an assistant in. You bring someone in that you give, you don't want to bring in somebody you don't know. I mean, that's the way it works. So I don't think as a coach, and I'm crying, I'm crying out for something like that to just, go and try. And I had 7 months, and I spoke to the guy at City because they've got all the clubs. I'll say, send me to China, Vietnam, Hong Kong, send me anywhere, I'll go. You know what I mean? I'll start at the bottom just to get opportunity. But hey, they got so many people. That's the way it is.
Well, listen, I have one more question, and then we'll wrap the pod up. Earlier, you were explaining that Sundowns are just so well resourced and unstoppable at the minute. You're back at SuperSport. This is your second coming. What do you think would be realistic goals? Do you think you could get on cup runs? Do you think you could qualify the team for African competition? Would those be your goals?
Yeah. So I looked at the squad the first, and I knew we had to play Sundowns in the top 8 in the first leg. And yes, I'm not saying I wanted to lose, but I thought, listen, we got them a week apart. We got the league game second. I want to win the league game. The cup game, you'll see what I did in the cup game. I got a little bit of a hammer because I put 3-4 kids in it. But I thought for us to go play in a semi-final, 2-legged semi-final, which is there was a lot of league games in between the first round and the semi-final. I think it'll take a lot out of us. We haven't got a squad for that. So not that I was happy to lose a game. No, I was sort of right. This is not a bad idea. Let's try put our focus on the league game, which I did. You'll see my squad and the team selection was a little bit different, and I did things which I would never have done if it was a league game. The first game I would have never have done what I did, but I did because it was not that I want to lose, but I'm just saying to you, I thought if we could drag him into extra time and go to penalties, we've got a great chance. But anyway, a cup, if we get a cup, for me is a draw. I don't care. FA Cup in England, that's the draw. You got teams that get right to the final by playing nobody, and you fluke it. You draw, you get a good cup draw home and what. So cup is certainly, but I feel I would love to be back in Africa with SuperSport. So that means top 3 if we can get there. We were 8th last year. Yeah, I think we were 8th. So let's not just be easy. With a young squad, not many players. If we can get back into Africa, I think it'll be a great achievement. But there's a lot of good sides and consistent. And this league, so we play. I've got 2 games now in the next 2 months. 3 months, I've got 2 games. Difficult. We've got the World Cup. And then January, I've got 7 games. And I've got 2 now in 3 months. It's crazy. So it's not easy to coach and play and keep the thing going,
We've got the African Super League, which is meant to launch next year, Gavin. Does that excite you? Does that scare you? What are your thoughts?
The only people it excites the people who are going to make the money. So if you're in it, fantastic. But the league will die a death. Europe, the leagues are strong. The proximity of playing games. But you play an African league in Africa, my friend. So we got to go to Guinea. I'll give you an example. I went to Guinea twice the last couple of years. It's 27 hours to get to Guinea. Okay, you got 10 hours to Dubai. No, 9 hours to Dubai from Joburg. 10 hours to Guinea. 27 hours in transit. Now you got to come back and play a league game on the Tuesday. Are you joking? Where in Europe, you play, they got private jets, you fly in, they're ready the next morning at training. So this Super League, what's going to happen to domestic leagues? It's a money-making thing that's going to kill the domestic football in Africa. And yeah, but if you're in it, hey, fantastic. If you're not in it, it's really, because I think every club in South Africa, in our league, it's like in England, when they play Man United or they play Liverpool, those fixtures are big fixtures, money-making fixtures for the clubs. So when we play them, it's a big day for our club. Even if it's our home game, we're getting 30,000 receipts at the gate, you know what I'm saying? Whatever. So I just don't know how this thing's going to work, but I don't see it in Africa. Yeah, that's all I do.
Gavin, thank you for coming onto the pod. As Courtney said, we appreciate your honest conversation, your wisdom that you've shared. And for those of you who are listening out there, please do follow us on our social media handles. That's OTW_podcast on Twitter and Instagram, or search for the On the Whistle podcast on Facebook or YouTube. We love to hear your comments. We love to engage with you. And wherever you are, whichever platform, if you're on YouTube, if you're on iTunes, if you're on Spotify, leave a rating, leave a review. It makes us very happy. Even Gavin Hunt, it means you've rated him very highly on the show. So if we don't get many ratings, it's down to you, Gavin.
It obviously wasn't good enough. Yeah. Okay.
Listen, thank you again, Gavin. Thank you, Courtney, for being around the bride. I wish you gentlemen well. Bye-bye.